Hey everybody, Bobby Iziotti here, bringing you week 14 of my NFL picks. Last week I went 11-4, but the Magic 8 Ball last week beat me, going 12-3, by far the best record that any of our randomizers have ever had. But this week, as always, we're going to try something a little bit different. I'm going to be using this Velcro dartboard, which I got at IKEA earlier this week, and it's got these little squid-looking things. You can see those right there. This one appears to be, it almost looked like it was missing an eye. Hello. Anyways, so the goal of these is you just take these, you throw it, and it sticks. And the way that I'm going to do this is very simple. As you can see, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's how many points these are worth. We're going to throw it, and every single team is going to get 2 of these to throw. Add them up, whichever one adds up to the higher is the winner of the game. And basically, if it's something where part of it's on one and some of it's on the other, I'm either going to go to where it's actually connected. For instance, you can kind of see that even though it's covering that up, it's actually connected right there. Whichever one's either actually connected to, or if it's connected to both, whichever one it has a majority or more of it covering is the one that I'm going to do. So, let's get started. All right, everybody, so the first game that we have for this week is the New England Patriots at the Los Angeles Rams. I will admit, I am filming this video on Thursday, so by the time you're watching this on Friday, it will have already gotten over, but it's currently before the game starts and I'm recording this right now, so I'm going to actually go with the Los Angeles Rams simply because they are starting to get really, really hot. They are currently leading their division, and they are at home. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the Los Angeles Rams, and the way we're going to do this is I'm just going to go ahead and throw the away team first and then the home team. Hopefully I'm far enough away from this thing. So these red ones that you see will pretty much be the home team, and the blue ones are going to be the away team. That way, hopefully you can see this very well. So let's get started with the New England Patriots. All right, so it appears that the New England Patriots have a 4-4, which is an 8. Now for the Los Angeles Rams. All right, so this one appears to be more attached on the 5. So we have a 5 and a 4, which is a 9, meaning the Los Angeles Rams, by a score of 9-8, will defeat the New England Patriots. All right, next up we have the Houston Texans at the Chicago Bears. The Bears have lost a lot of games in a row now. Not doing very well. Outlook not so good for Chicago, but the Texans are starting to get it together. They're still not the best team that there is. Even though they do have the worse record than Chicago, I'm going to go ahead and actually pick Houston. I think they're a little bit hotter right now, and they should have the advantage according to my thoughts. All right, so starting with the Houston Texans, we have a 2, and that appears to be more of a 3. 2 and 3 is 5 for them. Now for the Chicago Bears, that appears to be, all right, so that appears to be, this I'm going to actually consider a 1. This one is actually attached mostly on the 3, so we're going to go ahead and go with a score of a 1 and a score of a 4. I'm sorry, score of a 3, which adds up to 4, which is less than 5, meaning the Houston Texans, according to these darts, should win that game. All right, now we have the Dallas Cowboys at the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cowboys continue to suck this year, but Cincinnati is also not doing very well ever since Joe Burrow left. I, for some reason, think that Dallas might actually have a chance to win this game, even though they've been pretty bad lately. The last game, they were slightly better, if that can be said for anything. But I'm going to go ahead and go with the Dallas Cowboys. So let's go ahead and throw these things and see what the Dallas Cowboys have to do. All right, we have a 3, we have a 2. That means the Dallas Cowboys have a score of a 5. Now for the Cincinnati Bengals. That is a score of 4 and a 2. 4 and a 2 is a 6, which is higher than a 5, meaning they're going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals. All right, now we have the Kansas City Chiefs at the Miami Dolphins. Both of these teams are probably going to make the playoffs. Well, Kansas City's pretty much for sure going to make the playoffs. Miami has a really, really good chance. Miami's been very, very strong lately, but Kansas City still is the better team, and they are fighting for the number 1 seed overall. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Kansas City Chiefs. So let's go ahead and throw these first two here to pick what Kansas City's number will be. All right, we have, let's see what this looks like here. We're attached on a 3 and a 2, meaning Kansas City has a score of a 5. Now for the Miami Dolphins. All right, now we have a 1, and that's mostly attached on a 1, so that means Miami has a score of a 2, meaning we are going with the Kansas City Chiefs. Next up is the Arizona Cardinals at the New York Giants. Arizona's been pretty hot this year, but they've lost several in a row. They're starting to not be as good. Meanwhile, the New York Giants, even though they're a bad team in a terrible division, are actually starting to play really, really well. And because of the fact that they are at home, I'm actually going to go ahead and go with the New York Giants in this game. So let's go ahead and start with these first two ones here, starting with the Arizona Cardinals. We have a score of a 1. Score of a 1 and a 3 means Arizona has a score of a 4. Now for the New York Giants. All right, well, the Giants are already going to win because they already have a score of 4 plus something else. This is actually mostly on a 3. 4 to 3 is 7, meaning they're going with the New York Giants. All right, next up we have the Minnesota Vikings at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I am going to go with Tampa Bay for a few reasons here. Number 1, they are the better team. Number 2, they're fighting for the number 5 seed, as high a seed as they can possibly get in the playoffs. Number 3, Tampa Bay had a bye last week. They've had some time to rest, and I believe that they have used that time wisely. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this game. So starting off with the Minnesota Vikings. All right, it looks like we have a 3, and this is attached on a 4. 4 and 3 is 7 for the Minnesota Vikings. And now for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All right, and it looks like we have a 3, and this is mostly on a 1. 3 and a 1 is 4, meaning we're going with the Minnesota Vikings. All right, now we have the Denver Broncos at the Carolina Panthers. Both of these teams have an identical record of 4 and 8, but Carolina is at home, and they also came off a bye last week. So I'm actually going to go ahead and go with Carolina right now in this game. But let's go ahead and start off with the Denver Broncos and see what their score is. All right, and it looks like their score is a 1 and a 3, starting them off with a 4. And now for the Carolina Panthers. And the Carolina Panthers have a score of a 1 plus, that is a 2. 1 and 2 is 3, meaning this game should go to the Denver Broncos. All right, now we have the Tennessee Titans at the Jacksonville Jaguars. This one should be pretty easy. Tennessee is the much better team. They're fighting to win their division, which they have a decent chance of doing at this point. And Jacksonville really, really sucks. So we're going to go ahead and start with the Tennessee Titans here. Meaning Tennessee is going to start with a 2 and another 2. Tennessee starting off with a 4. And now for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And the Jaguars are going to lose with a score of a 1 and a 1 and a 2, meaning we're going with the Tennessee Titans. Next up, we have the Indianapolis Colts at the Las Vegas Raiders. Both of these teams I really kind of do want to see in the playoffs. They're both really good, but Vegas has been struggling a bit lately. And the Colts, while they lost either last week or the week before, they are still the better team. I hate to admit it as someone who has no loyalty whatsoever to the Las Vegas Raiders, but we're going to go ahead and start with the Indianapolis Colts here. And the Colts are going to start with a score of a 4 plus 2, starting with a 6. And now for the Las Vegas Raiders. Oh, and we are going to be victorious for the Las Vegas Raiders as they are attached to a 5 and a 3, scoring an 8, thus meaning they should win this game. Now we have the New York Jets at the Seattle Seahawks. Could the Jets be any worse? They're 0-12, had the lead last game, intentionally lost it, so they say, and then fired their defensive coach. Meanwhile, Seattle got bumped because they lost last week to the Giants in a very, very embarrassing fashion. But I do think Seattle clearly is a better team. That was the first game that they lost at home all season. I doubt they're going to do it to the worst team in the league 2 weeks in a row. I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks, but as always, we will start with the away team, starting with the New York Jets. All right, and the Jets will start with, this is actually attached more in the 2, a 2 and a 4, starting the Jets off with a score of 6. Now we have the Seattle Seahawks. All right, and the Seahawks have a 1 and a 4, adding up to a 5, meaning, according to this game, the New York Jets, again, will get their first win of the season. Now we have the Green Bay Packers at the Detroit Lions. The Green Bay Packers should easily win this game. Detroit, as always, not doing too good. Aaron Rodgers, decent chance of even winning the MVP vote this year. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Green Bay Packers, even though they are away team. So let's go ahead and start with them. All right, so the Packers have a 2 and a 3, meaning they're going to start with a score of 5. And now for the Detroit Lions. All right, and the Detroit Lions have a 4 and a 3, adding up to a 7, meaning they should win this game. Next up, we have the New Orleans Saints at the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia is in complete trouble. They really suck. They're not going anywhere. Meanwhile, New Orleans has already made the playoffs, and they're pretty much guaranteed to win their division as long as things go a little bit pretty much more in their favor. 1 or 2 wins should do it, and they could potentially do it very, very soon. I'm going to go ahead and go with the New Orleans Saints, so starting with them. All right, so the New Orleans Saints clearly have a 2 and a 2, adding up to a 4, so they start with a score of a 4. And now for the Philadelphia Eagles. And the Eagles have a 1, and this is also appearing to be a 1, score of a 2, meaning Philadelphia stands no chance. New Orleans will win this game. All right, now we have the Atlanta Falcons at the Los Angeles Chargers. Both of these teams are pretty bad, but Atlanta has been a little bit hot lately, I guess if you could kind of say that. I'm actually going to go ahead and go with Atlanta. Normally, I would choose the home team, the Chargers, in a situation like this, but there's just something inside me telling me that Atlanta's going to win this game. So let's go ahead and start with them. And Atlanta is going to start with a score of 4, having a 2 and a 2. And now let's do the Los Angeles Chargers. And the Chargers should win this with a score of a 2 and a 5, adding up to 7, meaning I guess the Chargers are going to win this game. All right, now we have the Washington football team at the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers lost last week, but they are at home, and home for them technically right now is in Arizona because San Francisco area's a certain county there will not let them play. Boo-hoo for them. Good for Arizona, though, for letting them play. I'm going to go ahead and go with the San Francisco 49ers in this game. I just think that they're going to be better, even though Washington has gotten a little bit better since the last couple of weeks. But I'm still going to go ahead and go with San Francisco. So let's go ahead and actually start with the Washington football team. All right, and Washington will start with a 2 and a 2, starting Washington with a 4. Now we have the San Francisco 49ers. And the San Francisco 49ers, according to this Velcro Darts game, should win with a score of a 3 and a score of a 5, adding up to an 8, going with San Francisco. All right, now we have the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Buffalo Bills. I'm really excited to see this game because Pittsburgh last week lost their first game all season. They are now 11-1, but they currently hold the tiebreaker over the Kansas City Chiefs. But the Buffalo Bills are at home, and even though Pittsburgh has such a great record, you can tell that they've got some issues. Meanwhile, Buffalo is actually doing really good. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Buffalo Bills in this game, even though they have the worst record, but they are at home. Let's go ahead and start with the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, and the Pittsburgh Steelers have a 2 and a 2, starting Pittsburgh off with a 4. And now for the Buffalo Bills. And the Buffalo Bills also actually have a score of a 4 with a 3 and a 1. Let's go ahead and re-throw Buffalo. And wouldn't you know it, they have a 3 and a 1 again. Time for round 3 for the Buffalo Bills. And for the 4th time in a row, we're going to have to redo Buffalo as they keep getting the same score. All right, finally we have a score worth mentioning. 1 and a 2, only adding up to a 3 this time, meaning finally we're going with Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, and the final game of the week, we have the Baltimore Ravens at the Cleveland Browns. I'm actually really excited to watch this game because, shocking surprise, I actually think Cleveland's going to win. They've been playing a lot better this season, and they are at home, and they're starting to get really, really hot. Plus, Baltimore, still not doing too good. I know they're still kind of dealing or getting over the whole COVID thing that they've had the last couple of weeks, but I'm going to go ahead and go with Cleveland. But starting with the away team, let's go ahead and start with the Baltimore Ravens. All right, and the Ravens have a score of a 4, and that's attached on a 4 as well, starting Baltimore with a really high score of an 8. And now for the final team, the Cleveland Browns. And Cleveland, according to this, will not be the victor in this game. With a score of just a 2, that means they're going to go with the Baltimore Ravens. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this video. And if you want to see how I did, go ahead and tune in next Thursday. And if you, tune in next Thursday. But be sure to like and subscribe in order for you to see this video. And if you want to see when it actually comes out, ding, 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 turn that bell on. Pretty much I have nothing else more to say for this video other than thank you very much for watching. If you want to review what this week's picks were, you can see it right here on the screen. Go ahead and watch the games if you want to see how I did. Tune in next Thursday. This is Bobby Yoda, signing off.